What is going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm going to close the chat here just for a second. This is the first of what I hope will be many, and I spent some time setting this up, though there's certainly a lot to learn. So appreciate everyone's patience. Um, yeah, let me know how you're doing. You can comment in the chat. Some good news: we have not just monetization, which helps me, do more with the channel, but now you can be a member of this channel. So I've set that at $3 a month, which I think is pretty fair. Now I feel like I'm shilling like NPR, but it is kind of part of the deal. So uh, yeah, for $3 a month, you can support what I do. I'll take a quick look at this chat. LA Deb said, "Hi Eric, happy Sunday." Hey LA Deb, how you doing? So I made a list of some topics. I feel like anything else I'll learn. I'll learn as I go. I've done a fair amount of podcasting, broadcasting, etc. And I guess if people are stumbling upon this in the algorithm, I'll just say real quick: this is Eric LeVay. Uh, I'm an investigative reporter and sometimes a commentator, and I write about extremism, all kinds of different stuff. So foreign intelligence, etc. Um, so I made a list of a few things. I think this platform is uh, those of you who follow me for a while know in the beginning I was a little conflicted about streaming, but ultimately I think it is another tool which is very useful. Lately, I've become my goal is to build something like what Sam Cedar has, or more recently, I've been watching Hassan Piker. I think there was a recent news story on him, and as you've seen, uh, Hassan, who streams mostly on Twitch, I think, has millions of followers and is an effective voice in a time where we really badly need one. If you're like me, I know that, uh, well, I can go into the longer things later. Let's just say that it's important. Now it's more important than ever that we stand up and speak about, what is important to us, given the things that are happening. Say a quick look. Rumble Rambles said, "Congrats on monetization." Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. And hello from Toronto, you said. Thanks so much. Verity said, "Hi, everyone." And Hoosier Beth said, "Hello." Hey, Hoosier Beth. Thanks so much. So I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, it's another tool in the toolbox. And writing is a very, can be lonely. And it's kind of, I read one time that someone asked Arthur Miller why, and I'm not comparing myself to Arthur Miller, by the way, but someone asked Arthur Miller why he became a playwright when he could have written, novels. And he said, because there was seeing the audience react to his work was really like meaningful to him. So I've always felt that feedback is important, and writing is lonely. You're just sitting there, and in reporting, there's a rush when it comes out. Uh, that's there's a longer story about reporters mental states and why reporters have addictions and things like that, because there's a similarity there. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's nice to be able to interact with people. So I made a list of a few topics. First, I'll just see if anyone else said anything in the chat, and then I've really been watching Hassan Piker a lot, because I'm just, whenever I do anything, I want to know what is the best way to do something, and I'm always like trying to sort of calculate that. So I spent some time setting this up. I want to build out the studio a little more, but I think today, it looks pretty good. It's a good. What's that phrase? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So, all right, for my first test here, I'm going to try presenting and sharing a screen. I thought we'd start off with this first. So let me go ahead and present this story that I wrote. Let's see, present. And we won't do this for too long because I can just talk and nobody wants to just stare at a screen. Share screen. And for those of you who don't already, you can follow me over on Substack, where I publish independent reporting. You can subscribe. It's free. I am never going to, while obviously paid subscribers are great and helps me do more. And you guys who have subscribed since I wrote this last story, it's much appreciated. But the point being, I'm never going to put up a paywall ever to anything I do. If I do, then you can clip this and make fun of me, because that's one of the problems. And when I got started in this, Uh, my very first kind of journalism was in an independent outlet called Forensic News that was with my friend Scott Stedman. And so Scott, who really was Scott was the force behind that. He created Forensic News, and then I came on board in the beginning. But the point being, Scott was very adamant about not having paywalls, never having paywalls, and that's a huge problem. And it blocks access to information, um, which is which is really a problem. Uh, ooh, wow, right away, huh? It didn't take too long. We're gonna need our mods in there. SPTV, I'm gonna need you. By the way, that's why I did not multi-stream this on X for my first time, because X is uh, has become a trashy platform. Uh, by the way, let me know. I assume you guys can hear and see me okay, but if there's any problem, just let me know everything's working okay. All right, I appreciate that. Uh, X is a vital platform. Unfortunately, even the things that have happened to it with journalism, but I chose not to multi-stream. Um, Jane said, I was just thinking about that with Netflix showing the SAG Awards. Who's Your Best said, X is a mess. X is a mess. LA Deb, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, the paranoia. All right, let me try sharing this story first. So let's see here. Present, share screen. All right, let's try this. Share. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, cool. This is my Substack. Like I said, you guys can go over there and subscribe. I can't put the link in because I'll get distracted. Bizarre live streamer arrested for stalking minor. So I published this the other day. It's a follow-up to a previous piece, but essentially a live streamer named Anthony D'Amato Jr., who calls himself, as you guys know, who followed this kind of thing, Zero Dark Tony, was arrested by police. A complaint was issued, or the city attorney received a arrest warrant in December on 26 counts, which are related to stalking of a minor and other very disturbing, even for someone like me who's a veteran, very disturbing crimes. Keep in mind, like anyone else in our system, he is presumed, innocent till proven guilty. I found the story and I still find it very disturbing in general. So my understanding, as you can see from the story and from public websites and public records, is he was arrested, I think, at the courthouse downtown while he was down there. And a bunch of eyewitnesses, including, I think, a reporter. Is it Dodge Landesman? I met Dodge once. So he was reporting down there as well. This follows up on a previous story I wrote when I published, I think it was like 13 or 14 pages of court records showing that the city attorney requested an arrest warrant and subsequently received that arrest warrant. This is also related to electronic harassment in the age that we're in, unfortunately. When I was, I got to say, like, I don't know how old everybody is, but I kind of came in right at that time right at that cusp where there really wasn't electronic. It's hard to imagine what it's like to be a teenager and to experience something like that. I think the world is harder now on kids because of that. So I published this piece. I'm especially proud of the previous piece because it's not that it involved anything extensive. It involved basically going down to the courthouse and getting documents. But yeah, I could lead into what I want to talk about accountability. But long story short, Mr. D'Amato was arrested, and I believe he's since been bailed out. And we'll follow that story. I think there's an arraignment tomorrow, so that's something I might go to. For the rest of the story, I don't want to just read it. You can go ahead and just take a look at the Substack and the previous story as well. But again, 26 counts. He's accused of stalking, violating a restraining order, and cruelty to a child. So again, It's quite a story over there. Let's go ahead and see if anybody had anything to say. Rumble Ramble said Dodge is on it. Yeah, I met Dodge once. We met over at the Viper Room when I was playing guitar over there. If you guys saw me playing guitar with Laura FM, shout out to Laura FM. That was a lot of fun. I do a lot of stuff. So, LA Deb said I'm old and life was better as a teen without social media. It's hard to imagine being like as an adult. I don't really like necessarily being like picked apart on social media. I have just enough of a profile where I've experienced harassment on a. Wait, I just realized you guys can't see me because I'm still. Whoops. Let's stop sharing the screen. There we go. I was just going to talk with that thing just up there. I lost my train of thought, but it's hard to imagine being a teenager these days, for sure. Oh, I remember. So I've experienced one far right guy when I reported on him who has millions of followers, put me on blast, and I had guys sending me messages like, all that stuff, the whole thing. So I try to. I'm used to it, but at the same time, I would prefer to avoid it if I can. Let's see. What do we got here? Rumble Ramble said, I think it's great. You're following it. It's messy. Yeah, it's a messy case. I believe in accountability. That's one thing that I wrote on the list of things to talk about and why I write some of these stories. And I'll just say specifically why I wrote that story in the past one is that I don't know. I can't say this for a fact, but I do know that the police, when I wrote the first story about the court records, the police department and the city attorney, who I both spoke with, do not like it when a reporter contacts them about, let's say, for example, what you've issued an arrest warrant over a month ago. What's going on, right? That kind of thing. I sent professional emails, as I sent to Mr. D'Amato, who subsequently lied and said I didn't reach out to him. Like, of course I did. Like, guys, it's me here. And you guys know I always am going to have the receipts, right? So, I'm a pretty fair guy. I have one thing I learned in this job is it is about being fair, but honest. The best description of if I'm talking too fast, by the way, let me know. There's only one of me here, so it's like an inner monologue. In Almost Famous, the Cameron Crowe movie, Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of the great all-time actors, playing Lester Bangs, right, who is a famous music journalist. And what did he tell, sort of like his protege? What did he tell him? Be honest, but unmerciful. That's what this job is. Honest and unmerciful. I forget how I went off on that tangent, but yeah. So did it help? I know they don't like getting those emails. I'll tell you that. And about 3 weeks later, there was an arrest. So so we'll see what happens. I love the job. Big picture. Like you guys know, I enjoy doing a lot of things, from music to writing fiction to doing this, all that. In terms of this, like I said at the beginning, I very much like what Sam Cedar does, and kind of doing your own thing. And so I'd love to build up something like that. I've made some appearances before. I was on the Daily Show podcast with Jordan Klepper, and so not to go on and on, but I've enjoyed this kind of stuff. LA Deb said public court docs show 26 charges. Correct. I read through those things so many times. By the way, it's crazy. On a side note, this is like a separate thing. Like I might like address this with like one of the press organizations. It's I think it's ridiculous in general that there's a real barrier to getting court records in this city. And I also, when you go down there in person, they're sort of. I actually was surprised because I don't go down to the courthouse too much. They're really logging and tracking who you are. Even when when I'm paying for the records, she wrote down who it was me, which is like why. I it's just it's just very odd. And it's tracked in a bunch of ways, which really I don't know. I don't like it. I don't care. I've got nothing to hide. I'm a reporter, but I found that strange, and I've never seen that in other cities, frankly. Uh, Who's your best said it's always good to do your own thing. Yes, I completely agree. Um, so yeah, I enjoyed writing those couple pieces. I think the last piece I published on a it's been a while since I published a piece. The last one I think that I was writing more for hire was a freelance piece at Daily Dot about a UCLA student who said he was going to sue during when there was a lot of when everything was going on with the encampment over there in the pro-Palestine. Um, so this guy named Milagro Jones, who I spoke with, said he was going to sue over. It's funny, the lawsuit actually I think never happened. So anyway, it was an interesting story. You can find it up at Daily Dot. I kind of have enjoyed writing for myself. This is not something. It's been a very long time since I've spent this much time doing that. And while there's there's some negatives for sure, but it's nice to kind of see the trade-off you're always doing when you write for somebody else. It's very often or almost never it never is like your words, like it is, but it isn't. When the product comes out, no matter who it is, Rolling Stone or whatever, it's just a little different, and you don't have much power. When it's your like Substack, you see exactly. It's kind of like the way you wanted it to be, so that's fulfilling. Um, Verity said that's strange for public documents. Yeah, I mean you log in with a name. I mean, I guess you could use a fake name, but like I said, I'm there, reporting. So I just found the whole thing strange. You log in, like they're clearly trying to track who's getting records because you have to use a name on the computer. Then over there, when you pay for them, the name again. It's like, why? Like these are public records. They're supposed to be available. Uh, so again, that's over on Substack. I wonder if I can. Oh yeah, I could go ahead and see if I could just put that in. You guys can. Whoa, I think that worked. All right, you can subscribe there for free. See, we got 29 people on YouTube, and I think that's 29 total. Okay. Yeah, I didn't stream on X today because I can only imagine how that's going to go. Rumble Ramble said you did it. Cool. Yeah, I wonder if I could put the first story in there. I just don't want to goof this up. All right. Let's see what else we got on the agenda. This one's pretty good. Yeah, I just loaded up like a few videos because, like I said, I'm learning too. That's especially why I watched so much Hassan Piker, because I'm just really interested in how a single person, does this kind of show and remains interesting. Though I was certainly not a fan of his, I just think like Rush Limbaugh, not a fan, but to do like 3-4 hour shows and to attain the power that he did in the conservative movement, not even taking like, I think maybe he would take a phone call, but those things are not easy to do. So I'm interested. And my impression from watching these streamers is that there's a lot of engagement with the chat. And it would be cool to take phone calls too, if there was some way, but we'll figure that out. All right. What else do I have on this list? I wrote State of the Union, which is pretty bad right now. Stopping a scammer. All right, let's go to something else here. Okay. All right, we'll just go to this one. So as you guys just pivoting a little bit, oh, this chat is. I gotta say, this is pretty cool. You know, I took a lot of time setting this up. You know, I was like trying to make it look good. The rest of the place is a disaster, but you guys can't see that. LA Deb said a live with a panel would be cool. Yeah, I actually originally when I was supposed to interview, so I was going to set up this interview with Jacob Harkey, you know, another live streamer and a journalist, and so when the fire started, just like you know, that was for those of us out here, that was there's not going to be any that kind of took over everything. So then I was thinking, I want to build up my skill set doing this because interviews are I don't want to say they're easy, but it's a different kind of thing, right? So Rumble Ramble said, I miss Jacob. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely still want to do that interview. I'll send him a text. I'm guessing he's just been busy. Uh, but yeah, good guy. I'm met him in the when I was covering the Scientology protests, the the early days. It was only like a year ago, and it just seems like some good times. Somebody needs to put together the best of clips. All right, so pivoting a little bit, as you guys saw, let me just share the screen here. Present. I would say StreamYard makes this pretty easy. Here we go. Oh, that's not it. Okay. All right. So, all right. Maybe I'll just back up for a second. Let me just say so. The reason accountability is important is because of what I'm about to play, and this is the problem. This was the fear that many people had, including people like me, who've directly worked on. For those who may or may not know, I worked as also as an investigator at a think tank based in Washington, and I worked on a lot of extremism cases and terrorism, that kind of thing. And so, accountability is important because when you don't have it, as we talked about with the first story, the Substack story about the live streamer, when these things don't happen, a lot of other things can happen. So let me just play this clip here. This is his real name is Henry Tario, but he goes by Enrique. As you know, he received, I think, 22 years in prison for trying to overthrow the government as the head of the Proud Boys. And now they've all been pardoned. They're back on the street. I, of course, being an unfortunate, by the way, he called me a nerd. No, it was only like a few weeks ago. I didn't really have much of a reaction to that. I've actually never thought that was even an insult. So I don't know. These guys always they always kind of repeat the same insults. It's kind of interesting. I don't know what a nerd is compared to somebody who's you know. Rumble Ramble said in the peaceful era. All right, so let me just play this video. Tario is back at the Capitol, and this was clipped by activist Anarchy Princess. Thanks for not clipped. Excuse me. She filmed this. So let's check this out. 1 second. Present screen. Here we go. So the let me just say too, the initial part in here is a little funny because the interviews, she's just like very funny. I want to have her on the show as well. So all right, check this out.
So were you out there supporting the guys in the?
Wait, can you guys hear that? It seems kind of low. See if I can turn this up a little. Oh, that's going to make a whole noise. All right, I'll just play it. Wait, let me go back to the chat. Could you guys chat? Can you guys hear that, or was that kind of like low there? Charles Patrick said, "Because you look like an actor in Revenge of the Nerds." Boss Money 84, what's going on? Boss Money said, "Cheers, everyone." Yeah, if someone can just let me know if you can hear any of this, because it's, you know what? Audio seem good. All right. So let me go back and let me play this clip. Here we go. I'll start it from the beginning.
So were you out there supporting the guys in the DC Gulag?
No,
or?
definitely not supporting them. I used to.
I really like her, and one of the things I like about her is just she's just quick. You got to be when you're going to do live interviews, especially stuff like this. It's about thinking on your feet and that kind of thing.
Do that, but I don't do that anymore.
Uh-oh. I'd like to test this on. Oh shit! Oh shit! Enrique Tario's getting arrested. Back up! Back up!
Wait, the reaction. I should have had her on. I'm going to do that next time. All right, wait. Let's just go back for the reaction one more time. Here. Why does it do that?
Oh shit! Enrique Tario's getting arrested. Back up! Back up! Back up! I absolutely would like to press charges. I absolutely want to press charges. My
I'll play a little more there.
hands hurt now too. Absolutely want to press charges.
All right, let me unshare there. Yeah, so basically, it's as funny as some of that stuff is. Let me say a couple of things from experience. First of all, these guys, I've literally the conspiratorial rally that I wrote about that took place in LA for Rolling Stone. I wrote about it in the. I don't remember if I actually mentioned. I wrote about a neo-Nazi who sort of tried to harass me there, but what I didn't mention in the story was that he actually, or excuse me, someone I think in his entourage, a female reporter that I knew was there, and one of them actually hit her, I think, and time again, I've seen that happen. These guys always will attack a woman first. They're extremely abusive, and I'm bringing that up because as funny as the stuff with the way AP was kind of narrating there, the victim there who was Tario, according to reports, hit her phone. If that's happening, that's very disturbing. It's very upsetting, and I don't want to like minimize that or anything. You could actually hear it in her voice, the victim there. She was filming, which they have the right to do, last I checked. And of course she hit the phone. I can almost guarantee you if that was a man there, he probably, he may not have done that. But that's how these guys are. That's how these guys are. Adam Carmona said if these people reoffend and are given pardons, we'll know they're being greenlit as a militia. Yeah. On actually a separate note, let me go to this. This is a different. Do I have this thing up? Let me see. Okay. Yeah, interesting comment, Adam. I'm going to share this. Different political philosophy, but it just made me think of that, Adam. So check this out, guys. That's not it. This is an article in the Kansas City Star I clipped just to briefly present here. Share screen. They got to make a faster way to do this. So, all right. So this is the Kansas City Star, and this too many windows open. Okay. After neo-Nazi rally, armed civilian group now patrols Ohio town. We Are the Police by Mitchell Willett. So basically, I'm going to unpresent that. So basically what's going on is that a couple, if you guys saw a couple like weeks ago in a town in Ohio, we'll open this one up to the floor, see what people think. So a group of neo-Nazis showed up and were doing the whole banner thing and all that nonsense. But the town came out and kicked them out, basically, which is good. That's a good thing. Now, though, again, this is a different, political philosophy. It's not the Proud Boys, obviously. But according to the article, now these kind of like armed patrols are going on. And now, according to the article, even some people in town are like, having these uncomfortable interactions. So I guess I would kind of open that one up to the floor to see what people think. Again, it's not the Proud Boys, obviously, but let me just say, armed civilians can go bad real fast, no matter what your political philosophy is. And I think there's a lot of fear and anger. The town also, it's predominantly black, so neo-Nazis showing up is especially horrible, right? But even still, the article just made me nervous just kind of reading it, and I don't know what's the police there. It sounds like they're trying to keep hands off, which sometimes it's not the worst thing, but when you have a lot of armed people walking around who are doing car stops, that kind of thing, you can have some trouble. So I'd be interested to hear what people think. I think it's called Lincoln Heights. Town is Lincoln Heights in Ohio. I think it's near Cleveland, or it might be a neighborhood in Cleveland. I don't exactly remember. I don't blame them for kicking them out the day they came in, obviously. I mean, that's, yeah, right. But weeks later, if you're doing car stops, I get a little nervous about that. Rummel said, the gun thing only makes guns more inevitable. How on earth do you tell people they can't have their armed neighborhood watches? I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I was just worried about some of the stuff in the article, including a business owner who said he got confronted by 3 armed men, So I haven't read an article like that in a long time. So it was interesting. Adam Carmona said we could see a Garrison gang situation. I apologize. I'm actually not familiar with that. But you said it could develop like Jamaica in the 70s and 80s. Ingrid has a great comment. Hey, Ingrid, I don't want some... Maybe this summarizes it better than my rambling. I don't want some stranger coming up to my car with a gun. Yes. Yeah. Again, I understand how upsetting it is when you're around these people. I know, believe me. And it's a predominantly black neighborhood, so even worse, horrible to see these Nazi flags. But again, a month later, if someone's stopping you and asking you what you're doing in your own town, that worries me. So just an interesting article. Adam Carmona said in Jamaica, the 2 main rival parties had their own paramilitaries. Yeah. And I think that I think we're headed in that direction, unfortunately. I didn't clip it. I guess I could pull it up here. So Terrio, going back to the Proud Boys, Terrio was arrested for, I think, simple assault. He was then released. Let me see if I can pull up what happened. I don't know if you guys just saw what happened. It was either today or yesterday. Hang on. Yeah, this was... You want to talk about being worried? This would qualify as something that worries me. I'm going to attempt to pull this up. Let's see here. So you can never have dead air in a broadcast. Okay, I think somebody clipped it. All right, we'll just grab this one. Okay, we'll just grab this one. So give me just a sec here. And we got to share this. Whoa. Unfortunately, when we talk about accountability, this is what happens when there is not accountability. And it's a real problem here. Okay, let's get this set up. All right, share.
You guys are assholes. Please just back off.
So to explain what's going on here real quick, basically there was some sort of conference in which a number of the Capitol Police, some real heroes like Harry Dunn, Michael Fanone, who was actually, I think, Metropolitan Police, they were appearing at a conference and the Proud Boys showed up. And this is what happened.
You know, as an asshole, somebody that sits in sentencing last one, I got sentenced to 22 years. That's an asshole.
Let me just say that it's crazy that is there any security at this conference? Let me just explain it like this, because I still think it's the weirdest thing. It's not. I used to have this conversation with people in Washington even before I worked there. I was like, because there's just like a lack of. I don't even understand how anyone could not understand what these people want. By the way, I feel like this is sorry if this is like a negative broadcast, but I don't understand why that they want, their goal is to kill everyone. Is this not complicated? That's what fascism is. That's the goal. So it's just mind-boggling to me. Is there any security at this hotel at all? This is private property. They have no right to be there if the hotel doesn't want them there. They can kick them out. They were allowed to get their. I guess I could play a little more, but they got right next to Fanone, and so it's unbelievable. Like, there we go.
You were brave on Twitter, and you was brave on the sentencing. You was laughing when I got 22 years. And now you really don't want to look my way. You pretend I'm not here, right?
That's Terrio in the center. To his left is actually a guy named Ivan Raikland, who's a virulent right-wing extremist. He actually was a Green Beret. I think he missed a few things about the oath you take when you to serve this country. And that's Michael Fanone in the jacket.
This is certainly fun.
So anyway, they basically go on to just chase them, not chase them, but like comically though they didn't do anything. Like Fanone, understandably, was not happy, but a lot of these guys just want to go viral and all that. But if their goal was to throw punches, they could have thrown punches. You notice they didn't. There was a lot of blowhard talk there, which is how most of these guys are. Ingrid said, especially given the rhetoric being thrown around. So they chased them they followed them up to the elevator. And then it looked like security or somebody finally like steps in there. But this is why accountability is so important. It is legitimately crazy that these guys are out of jail. I'd be interested. I know some of you guys, especially like Adam, is a student of history. I should probably I would like to get a historian on the show. I want to know, what are the parallels? Have this many terrorists ever been released from prison, and then has the leader gotten back into power through an election? Voluntarily, like just a fraction enough, but enough people voted for him again. That's what I'm trying to say. So I wonder how many people that subscribe to this channel for other reasons are now going to like. This is the way I see it. I think we might lose some people, but it's like that thing in Field of Dreams. We'll build it, right? And then we'll build it, and more people will come in. And I think I'm pretty fair. And you said maybe in Italy or Germany. Yeah, I'm really interested. I'm having trouble thinking of. I know there's a parallel because history just repeats itself, right? Rumble Ramble said almost every day since January 1st has been how has this ever happened? Yes. For all the people, all the prosecutors, the federal agents, the researchers, the people like me and other people. I don't really want to put myself in there. I did some work, but I mean, there's a lot of people that did really good work, and to see that, it's. I know it hurt people a lot, but you did the right thing. I'll do a quick segue there just to say too, for those who came in later, you can now become a member of this channel. I set it at $3 a month if you want to support independent ramblings, discussions, journalism, on the ground work, you can support me. So I just want to get that in there, and you can subscribe to Substack too. I think all the links should be in the description of the video. So that's good. Ingrid said he just signed to make him the person who can decide what the law is. Yeah. We got a good crowd in here. I noticed when you stream vertically, that's when it gets insane, because that's when like people are just swiping. Adam Carmona said people come here for the political commentary and stay for the brutalist lamp. Yeah. The camera's good though. It's a pretty good setup. LA Deb said your channel is important and will grow in time. I always try to share your life. Thanks, LA Deb. Yeah. Well, you're doing important work too. So it's that's what I'm talking about. We all gotta, for all the faults of the internet, there has been something really good. To the ability to reach people anywhere in the world, right? That's something really important, and it's a pretty amazing thing, I got to say. I mean, this what we're doing right here, this wouldn't have been possible. What 15 years ago, even. If let's say someone wanted to break into radio, like I heard one time I heard Howard Stern kind of making fun of podcasting. I've always been a pretty big fan of Howard overall, but I thought it was funny because I was like, if you were a kid now, you were starting out, you'd be podcasting, right? Like that's exactly what you'd be doing. So he was kind of making fun. He was kind of saying, that's not how you get started in radio. I was like, but you would definitely be doing this. So yeah, it's tough times out there. I know a lot of people have been dejected, and I get it. I know, especially after the election, but I think things are getting better. I don't mean things are getting better like politically, but I was thinking, put out there another time, but I think things are getting better, but we all got to, everyone has to do their part. So yeah, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Adam said Howard essentially does a podcast now. He broadcasts from his house. Yeah, good point. Romo Ramble said the Midas touch just pulled ahead of Rogan. Yeah, I actually heard that. I know someone who, I think they're based in LA, and I know someone who's worked with them. That'd be great to go on something like that, or if I could maybe work with them at some point. Yeah, those guys have really built up their own thing. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And I think the main guy, is it Ben Macelis, is a lawyer. They've really built up like almost like an empire. So we really need that. I mean, I talked about this on some of the other lives. A few people got mad at me. They haven't, even in my personal life, they don't agree with me on this. I said, there's this thing going on about do you need a liberal Joe Rogan? I feel that yes. Other people think that's absurd, or they get mad. By the way, who could that be? My schedule's open. I'm not talking about with disinformation and all that nonsense, but a voice that's reaching, especially young people on alternative platforms. I mean, how can people say we don't need that? Like I talked about on other broadcasts, one of the worst things that's happened. This is before a lot of people probably in this chat, even like, but seeding. Well, I was only a kid, I guess, at the time, but seeding AM radio to the religious right has been a disaster. Seeding all those mediums where no one with any kind of different voice, and they took over this. That's how Limbaugh came to fame. You have to. The medium is the message, right? So it's just unbelievable. And a comment here, love the Midas touch. Yes. Yeah. I should listen. You know what? I got to add that now that I'm burnishing my skills here. I need to add that to my list of things to listen to. I haven't heard much of it. My friend Jack, who made a documentary about the Trump Russia stuff, which is a very good documentary. I think he's worked with them. So maybe shamelessly I should send him a text. I think I tried that with the Young Turks at some point, but Marsha said, "Hey Eric, what's up, Marsha? How you doing?" We're just talking about, this is the first of what I hope will be many. A weekly show would be, a daily show would be amazing. I decided to start off here weekly. One thing I'm pleased about, though, I've been looking at the numbers. So today we've consistently held 30 people. That means people are not tuning out like this is boring. That's good. That's what I want to see. And I'll just keep, keep talking. Cajun said, "Hey, Eric." What's up, Cajun? Nana said, "Hey, Eric." Hi, Eric. What's going on? So we've talked about a few things. We talked about my reporting on the arrest of live streamer Anthony Robert D'Amato Jr. We talked about that in the beginning. There's an arraignment tomorrow, and I may go to that if I can. Adam said you don't want to go anywhere near the Young Turks these days. I don't know what's going on with Cenk Uygur. I think that's how you say his name. He was up with like Charlie Kirk at one of the conventions, just not in a good way. So yeah, one thing I've learned, it's a balance. You need one media appearance can change your life. I mean, that's just I'm just going to be honest about that. Like one hit, as they say. But I've turned things down too. I'm not like, it's not like I'm like on every TV network, but I've turned things down. I'm like, it's not worth it. Sometimes you write something, and like when I was working on the UCLA investigation into the attack on the encampment, and I've had people reach out to me that I'm like, this work is valuable to me, but I don't think I want to necessarily go on your network for a lot of reasons. Joe said, "Eric, I'm glad you're getting back into a live stream routine." Yeah, thanks, Joe. I know a routine is important. I know that people want to keep to a schedule, so it's challenging. But right now, Sunday's good. I would do a daily show. I'm just trying to balance things. I do write and other stuff, so I guess I'll do the best I can. I'll try to pick. I like the idea of. I really like the idea of daily. Like doing something like this full time would obviously be amazing. But it's challenging. Cajun said I'm in Louisiana and surrounded by the Proud Boys type. I'm sorry to hear that. By the way, let me just. I think I could put this in the chat. Glad you brought that up. So hang on. I'm always, it sometimes takes me a while to write back, but that's my public email. If anyone's ever in a situation where you're being harassed by these people, there's a problem in your town, reach out to me. I know how to help. I mean, I don't care what I don't care if it was a thing in the newspaper or a small thing. I know I can help. You might already know what to do, which is great. But if anybody needs my help, I can, someone else reached out to me recently who runs they help migrants. They help people immigrating to this country, the undocumented migrants too. Now they're being harassed down there. So that's kind of like one of the things I can help with. I'm glad you brought up Chris Cluey, because I have that queued up, by the way. So never feel like you can't reach out to me. I'll just say this about that. When these Proud Boys types or whoever are in your town, you can push back in a way. I'm not saying it doesn't have risk, and you probably know this already, but you can push back, and there are things that you can do. I don't believe most Americans, even in places that are a lot more conservative, are down with. I still do believe. I'm not like dumb or something. It's not the right word, but most Americans are not down with this fascist stuff. Adam said, I can't imagine what side Huey Long would be on. Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, a number of people have been very upset at me lately from the reporting. They don't pronounce my name right. It's LeVay. Like, I'm just going to clip that part and put it up. Like, if you're going to send me some or say unpleasant things because I did my job, at least please pronounce it LeVay. Romo Ramble said it's good to have places. It's good you have places like this to hang with some like-minded folks. Louisiana is a tough state. I was in Louisiana right before Katrina, actually, and great. I was in New Orleans. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to see as much of the state as I would like. I had while I was a tragedy, what happened later. New Orleans is a incredible people. And I would love to see more of that state and this country, frankly. Ellie Deb said, good to hear, Eric, in case I'm mistakenly detained by ICE. God, I hope. I know those things have happened. American citizens have been detained, but God, I hope something like that never happens. But we got your back. We got your back. You got my email. And I have a public signal too. The Signal app is considered the best encrypted app, the safest app for people to use. Everybody should use something like that. I'm now forgetting what my I was going to put my handle in there. It's in my Twitter. What is it? Because I don't usually. I'm just kind of looking. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, I'll put this in the chat too. Hang on. Man, the bandwidth is like a little kind of slowed here. So basically, yeah, I was thinking about doing some kind of security thing too. I think that'd be interesting, but Signal. So Signal is the most secure messaging app that's widely considered. Everybody uses it. That's why the government, there's some laws about using encrypted stuff, but they're allowed to do it in certain cases, even aside from these current lunatics. Signal is the most secure one. If you don't use Signal or you don't want to use it, it's always recommended to use something. Even WhatsApp, it's like, yes, is WhatsApp owned by Facebook, but still anything is better than nothing. So I use Signal as much as I can. If anybody ever has a problem or has a tip on a story or whatever, you're being harassed and you want to remain secure in that, you would use the Signal app. So highly recommended. It's what's called end-to-end encrypted, which means unless something has changed that nobody knows about, no one, not even the company, has access to your messages. There's no way to access. The only way people can access Signal messages is if they get your actual phone, like someone steals your phone. So otherwise, it cannot be snatched out of the air. And everyone should use something like that, especially now. There's a lot of ways. There's WhatsApp, Wire. We could run down the list. There's many apps. And Ingrid said, we're worried about our brother-in-law because his green card is expiring soon. He's German. I think I missed something else in the chat, but yeah, it's crazy right now. Americans get swept up in these things all the time. And these people's fascism is also, unfortunately, linked to their incompetence is also notable. Unfortunately, those things together which they always go together, are deadly. 54 minutes. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we got here. You mentioned Chris Cluey. I got that queued up, actually. Maybe we'll go out even on a high note. yeah, let's go ahead and play that. And if I didn't already say it, remember to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You can become a member now, which I spoke about. And all support is appreciated. But the most important thing is that you're watching and listening. It's a nice day out here, by the way, in LA. Just, I know it's cold in a lot of places, but it's not to make anyone feel bad or anything. Wait, what is going on here? Oh, I was looking at my mentions, so I wonder if I can show this. I don't have time to get into this whole thing, but I'll just show you guys real quick. Like, yeah, maybe I could. Okay, I can do the abbreviated. I was going to do this earlier. I'll do the abbreviated version just because this was kind of funny. Let me just make sure. I want to look at the window real quick. Okay, so let's share this. This is just kind of funny. We could do a workshop on this. Present, share screen. Where? Okay, here it is. So, all right. So, so let me explain what this is. All right, can I zoom in a little bit? Oh, wait. Whoa. What do they say? Extreme close up? That's, damn it. All right. All right. So basically there's this guy, I wasn't familiar with him, but I think his name is John Cameron. And I believe he was arrested at J6 and now he's been pardoned. I'm pretty sure about that. So anyway, he posted this thing, J6 job opportunity. And basically he was saying that he could get 5 people a job at Tesla. And it just had all the read of these Craigslist ads from like the 90s. Like it just like my radar went up right away. So let me just see if I could show you guys this real quick. So I'm looking at his ad. As you can see, they'll fly you there. Like, wow, this sounds great, right? Let's take a separate thing for a second. That, how do I make myself bigger in the frame here? That's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to like. Let's take for a second. Let's take the issue aside that violently attacking your own country, you don't deserve like benefits like a new job anywhere. Like I mean, you're if you've been held accountable, then you're you can go on with your life and all that. But the point being, so anyway, let me go back to the image here. So I was looking at the thing, and I'm looking over here, and I looked at this house, and you guys know I'm like an open source intelligence analyst, so not like I am. I'm just fading here a little. So I went ahead and did what's called a reverse image search, which is something I can show you guys how to do, because I just had a bad feeling, and so I used a couple different tricks to look at the house, and this is what I discovered. This is the actual house. It's not in Austin, Texas. It's in am I saying this right? Des Plaines, Illinois. And I could probably show you. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll show you how to do reverse image searches so you can do this kind of stuff yourself. So the point being is that the guy is lying. He's trying to scam people, right? And it was so funny. So I commented back, and then all these people, it's just been like kind of going viral. People just keep tweeting it. So I could show you guys how to do that. You could take an image on the internet and find. I found the original source on Instagram, and that's super easy to do. It's called a reverse image search, and you can do it right on Google. So yeah, stopping a scammer, or at least doing my part to help was pretty cool. So maybe we can go more into depth with that on another broadcast. But reverse image search. Like I'd really like to do that live, but I just feel like it's not gonna. Ellie Deb said, "I love that. Thanks, Ellie Deb." Yeah, it was like the house isn't in Austin. The whole thing is obviously it's made up. It's a fraud. And I tweeted to him. I was actually thinking about writing about that. Maybe I will. Like it's like I want to show you guys how to do that. I just like don't. I don't know if I can do it here. I will do it another time. But I hope. Again, it's called. Maybe I could just like. Here. I'll do the abbreviated version. So. All right. So all you do is you go to Google, and when you look at the search bar to the right, there's something that looks like a camera. You can put any picture. You just upload the picture, and Google will look for matches. It's very easy, and that was basically how I was able to discover it was in Illinois. It's very easy. All right, let's get Chris Cluey going. Have that here. Okay. So prefacing this, Chris Cluey played, I think, for the Minnesota Vikings. He's a punter. It's a very successful football career. And he went to a city council meeting in Huntington Beach the other day, and this is what happened. Go ahead and share this. And this should be a inspiration, frankly, to everybody. This is how it's done. Here we go.
Unfortunately, it's clear that this council does not listen, so instead I'm going to take my time to say what MAGA has stood for these past 3 weeks. MAGA stands for trying to erase trans people from existence. MAGA stands for resegregation and racism. MAGA stands for censorship and book bans. MAGA stands for firing air traffic controllers while planes are crashing. MAGA.
And it does, right? Like, just to jump in there for a second, like, it does stand for those things. And it's like, when you see someone also who's from a position of prominence who's saying something like that, you know, and a professional athlete, you know, it's just like, you know, I think there's a reason this went viral.
MAGA stands for firing the people overseeing our nuclear arsenal. MAGA stands for firing military veterans and those serving them at the VA, including canceling research on veteran suicide. MAGA stands for cutting funds to education, including for disabled children. MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is.
Wow. Like he just like went there. And you could tell too that he took a lot of time just in his remarks. Like he took time to think about that and write it down. This is a very intelligent person.
I will now engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience. Get the heck! Get out!
Did you hear?
Unfortunately,
did you hear how angry they were? By the way, like I think that guy was yelling, "Get out!" Let me stop presenting here. They were, if you ever, you know, if you're active in your city, which just be careful. People get absolutely crazed, despite the fact that they're supposed to be all about the free speech. You know, the right. Oh, we're all about the free speech. The outrage. Romo Ramble said it's my favorite retired football player hobby ever. Yeah, what the phrase we would use is a mensch, right? And with my, you know, that's a mensch. You know, in the Jewish religion, we would call him a mensch. What a video. L.A. Deb said he's an ex-NFL player, right? Yeah, he played for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he played for a few teams. Adam said, based on Greg Palast reporting, MAGA is also voter suppression. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, right? I mean, there's so much more we could talk about. Now now Trump wants to take over the post office. Why do you think that is? Why the post office, right? It's the walls are kind of closing in, right? If they can control the mail, they can control another arm of elections, right? So that's the slow moving coup. So yeah, Let me say too, I'm really pleased with this broadcast. I actually, I'm really like meticulous. Not that I'm some kind of special person or whatever, but I put some time into just making sure this worked right, and it did. Rummel said, "Thanks so much for this, Eric. See you next one." Yeah, absolutely. I might ramble for a little more, but yes. Yeah, weekly. I don't know if I could do daily right now, but I think I could definitely do weekly. Ingrid said control information. Yeah, that's what it is. A friend of mine was recently saying, I mean, I don't think she would mind if my friend Kelly, who's a great photographer, a great journalist, Kelly Stewart, she's a photographer, so it goes by Sky Spider. Kelly said that she thinks that things are moving into some of the people who would use different tactics are now trying to make themselves appear mainstream. And I thought that was very astute. And I've seen that where some people I used to see, there's a feeling like if they can just kind of hide, and that's how they can now influence things, influence policy. And I just thought that was very astute, and I think it's true. LA Deb said your lives are always interesting and informative. Thanks, LA Deb. Very said, see you next week. Great commentary. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for once a week. Tomorrow, like I said, I may go to that arraignment for the one for Anthony Diamato Jr. I just don't know. I guess I don't think I had anything else. I gotta see how long these other ones like Hassan Piker or Midas Touch, how long do they go for? They must do pretty long streams, huh? Yeah, I think that's it. I got this clip of I think we'll just go out on a high note. All right, guys. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell somebody about the channel, share the video. I know it's been tough times. We're in very dangerous times, extremely dangerous. But I'm always going to do this. Whether I know you guys in the real, in IRL, as they say, or it's such a silly phrase. The thing about me is that I don't care. Nothing's ever going to stop me from doing this. Threats. I don't care what it is. I'm always going to do this work, and that's really, I guess, what I want to end on. I'll never stop. So I appreciate you guys, and have a great Sunday. I think I'm gonna go take a walk and catch some of that sunshine, some of that sunlight. All right, guys, be well. Take care.